or a storybook. Pretty boring one if you ask me. And so I'm waiting, and I'm getting angry, and I'm starting to cry. And I thought, why won't he move? He is so stupid to know that I want to get to those cans. And so I took my fist and I brought it down hard on his head. And he fell to the ground. And he looked startled. And then there was this child over here who started crying. And I yelled at her, "Would you stop crying?" It's drawing too much attention to me. And so I didn't want that tuna fish anyway. And I ran out of that supermarket. And I thought, I want to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I need some culture and peace about me. So do you know how hard it is to hail a taxi cab? So I'm waiting. Here comes one, slows down. There's a man that came out of that market after me, and he got in. And so, oh, here comes another one. And this lady comes out of there with groceries, and I went over and I yelled right into her ear, "If you get in that cab, I will kill you." And so, here comes the cab, and I got in. And I said to the driver, I want to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art because I need culture. And he turned around to me and said, "Lady, I am about to get off work. I am going home to my family." Oh my goodness. I thought my head would explode. Isn't it against the law not to accept a fare, even if you were going to Staten Island? Oh, so anyway, I thought about pressing charges against him, but it would take days and days of phone calls and letters and all kinds of things, and I couldn't even buy a can of tuna fish. So I sat in his cab and I would not move. I thought about going back to get a can of tuna fish. Tuna fish with mayonnaise. That's one of the few things that I can make in my kitchen. Oh. But then I realized that whoever might be at the cash register was probably a woman, and she didn't like women, or maybe it was a man who hated women, or maybe he wished he was a woman. Oh. Anyway, it all seemed so complicated. So I just sat there, and the driver kept saying, "Lady, please, I have to go home to my family." And then I thought, I won't even argue with him. I will just sit here. And so he started shouting obscenities to me. I was glad I was sitting down. Anyway, maybe he'd think it was easier to just drive me to the Metropolitan. Oh, then I began to think, maybe I didn't want to go to the Metropolitan. I was hungry, for starters. Maybe a movie, because they have popcorn and Diet Coke and those little round chocolate balls. What are they called? Well, anyway, do you know they cost $4.50 in the theater? Isn't that ridiculous? Oh. Anyway, all of a sudden, he pulls his cab right out into the traffic with a lurch. Oh, and I yelled, I changed my mind. I've changed my mind. I want to go to the movie. And so, but then, you know, he turned around and he said to me, lady, I am taking you to the police station. The police station? You have heard about police brutality, and they might use one of those things and shock me. And I decided it was not worth going to the police station. So when he stopped at the stoplight, violently I might add, oh, something's wrong with my back. Oh, but litigation is too difficult, or otherwise I would sue. So I swung that door open, and I jumped out, and I yelled right into his window. Although I think my tongue slipped, I said, your mother sucks socks in hell. And he says, lady, you're crazy. And so he drove off so violently that he ran over my foot. Oh my goodness. And so I fell into the gutter. Oh. Do you notice how spring is lovely? And fall, everything's dying. And nothing seems to go together anyway. And you can't assuage the two. Do you understand? I presume it's a universal feeling, isn't it? I know it's universal. So, there I was, lying on my back in the gutter. And this street musician comes over to me, and he said, may I help you, lady? And I said, no, but you can play Melancholy Baby. And I thought that was a funny thing for me to say under the circumstances, because I have a fair wit and intelligence about me, even if I have been in the mental institution. And I thought to myself, if this man laughs at my comment, which is peculiar, I have found a companion for the rest of my life. I wouldn't ask him to help me with summer, that's too hot. Anyway, something's happening to the universe. The ozone layer is getting thinned out, and the sun is coming directly in, and we'll probably all die with cancer. And then we'll probably breathe wrong things through our nostrils. Anyway, besides, that street musician did not laugh at my comment about Melancholy Baby. I don't know what causes hell. Anyway, I hadn't really gotten a good look at him in the dark. Maybe I wouldn't like his looks. Anyway, he might not be the right person for me to spend the rest of my life. And so he says to me, lady, do you want me to help you up, or do you want to stay seated in the gutter? And I said, I don't know the answer to that question. I thought that was kind of funny for me to say after I attacked someone at the tuna fish counter and was assaulted by a taxi driver. It was sort of gallant and witty in the midst of unspeakable woe. Line from Beckett. Laughing wild amidst unspeakable woe. So then I said to him with a wiry smile, I am laughing wild amid unspeakable woe. And he looked at me blankly, and I said, I am laughing wild. And since he didn't seem to get it, I threw back my head and I let out this enormous laugh like I do at parties. Ah! Oh, and he didn't seem to get it. He was humorless. And so he says to me, "Lady, if you need help getting over to the ladies' shelter, I'll be over there playing the guitar." Oh, and then I knew I was Fortune's fool. This man was not meant to share my life with me. He was humorless. He didn't have a sense of shared existential ennui, angst, or whatever. Now, I have been to college. I didn't read everything they assigned me. What good would it have done? So, do you follow me so far? Dick? Or are you looking at me like that musician did? You know, sometimes I love street musicians, but not that particular one.